John Lindley has attended numerous Breeders' Cups and has had success in wagering on those big days. He offers some tips for this year's event coming up November 3rd and 4th at Del Mar.
When you're looking at the older horses, fillies and mares, and the older top horses around the country, a lot of the recent races all the way through the summer are handicaps, and those top horses are given weight to some of the other horses. And when they come to, the Breeders' Cup, it's all weight for age. So that can make a little difference there. Be aware of that.
Belmont Park Preview Weekend is coming up October 7th and 8th.
When you have those horses coming in from the East Coast that ran either a mile or a mile and eighth at Belmont, realize that they've been running a one-turn mile with a big sweeping turn. Going to Del Mar is a big difference. So I would, if you like one of those horses, I would always try to look for a horse that ran well at Belmont, of course, but also ran well on a two-turn mile track, because that form may not translate as well also.
Top East Coast trainers Chad Brown and Todd Pletcher are always active at the Breeders' Cup.
What I would like to do is on maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in those supporting stakes races before the Breeders' Cup, see how those Barnes horses are doing. Sometimes that ship can be a little tricky. Maybe the Barnes all horses, didn't ship well and things like that. So I watch how they do in those supporting stakes races, or even at least Friday on Breeders' Cup before I look at Saturdays. For European horses, there's a couple of things. As we know, European horses are going to be carrying more weight in Europe, so when they get to the U.S., they get a little lighter weight. They also, a lot of them get Lasix for the first time, and they get probably a firm turf. European firm turf and good turf and soft turf is way different than California, which we, call AstroTurf. So just kind of be aware of that. Some horses will like that. Also, there's two main meets in Europe that I want to see some of my horses that I play in. That Ascot meet in mid-June. When you see horses run there, they're competing with the top horses. And then also when they're running in France in either September, October, Chantilly or Longchamp. For example, last year Highland Reel ran second in the Arc. He was looking for really firm turf, came over to the U.S., dominated the turf race. But also Queen's Trust, who ran really good in June at Ascot, came to the U.S. and beat Lady Eli on the turf here.
Lindley uses his own Beyer-type speed figures, but also suggests a supplement on Breeders' Cup weekend.
I use the Thorograph figures. Thorograph figures are opposite of Beyers. They also include some things like weight and ground loss. However, I find them to be very accurate, very useful, especially with the European shippers. I think when you go Santa Anita or Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup, spend the $50. It's a little pricey. Get the Thorograph analysts and the speed figures and look at them, and I think you'll find yourself at a big advantage there. Finally, the last thing is, I think Arrogate's going to come back and bounce back, and you'll see the real Arrogate on Breeders' Cup Classic Day.